Test 8. Questions 1 to 3 refer to the following conversation.
Miss Woods, I just saw the latest report. Our market share is up to 25% now.
It's a promising sign. Still, it's not nearly good enough. We have a lot of debts to cover.
We had less than a 10% market share just 3 years ago. I don't think we need to worry about those debts much longer.
The situation might be more complex than you think. I estimate that it'll be another 5 years until the company breaks even.
Number 1. What is the topic of this conversation? Number 2. What is the woman's reaction to the news? Number 3. What does the woman say will happen after 5 years? Questions 4 to 6 refer to the following conversation.
What did you think of that sales pitch? I think the speaker made a lot of sense.
So, are you thinking of investing in his company? I think you might want to sleep on it. You might change your mind after you think about it for a while.
Do you mean you didn't like what he said? I think we're lucky to have the chance to invest with him. The company sounds like it's going to grow fast.
I think he was trying to impress us with the trendy language he used, and I think that kind of language masks the fact that there's a big downside to his proposal.
You are right about one thing. The sales pitch did have a lot of buzzwords.
Number 4. What did the man and woman do before this conversation? Number 5. What is the woman's opinion? Number 6. What do the man and woman agree on? Questions 7 to 9 refer to the following conversation.
It's been 6 months since we changed our training techniques for new employees. What results have we seen from that?
During these 6 months, while we've gamified the approach to training, we've seen increases in employee satisfaction levels. They're the highest they've ever been for new and old employees alike.
With all due respect, that's not what I'm interested in.
Over the same time period, the production numbers of newly hired full-timers have outpaced the production numbers of newly hired full-timers of the past.
Good. So that indicates that people are learning faster and retaining information better using the new training methods.
Yes, that's right. New employees now make fewer mistakes when they first start out on the production floor. Accidents in production have also reduced.
Number 7. How were the training techniques changed? Number 8. What does the man say about employee satisfaction levels? Number 9. What resulted from the new training techniques? Questions 10 to 12 refer to the following speech.
After carefully analyzing your business, I have found one significant barrier to your potential for revenue. Though your advertisements are eye-catching and the rooms you offer appear comfortable, you simply have no reviews from real customers. Potential guests feel a greater sense of intimacy with personal reviews than with advertisements. Without reviews, there is an implication that your advertisements are unbelievable. You will see a tremendous turnaround in your business's performance if you can just change this one thing. You could start by offering an incentive to guests who leave feedback on their overnight stays.
Number 10. What does the speaker want to help the listener with? Number 11. What does the speaker say about guests? Number 12. What kind of business did the speaker analyze? Questions 13 to 15 refer to the following speech.
In our research department, we are innovating ways to beat jet lag. The wearable device we are most excited about looks like a simple eye mask. Via Bluetooth, users set their destination point and arrival time on their phone, and the mask does the rest. While being worn, the mask emits periodic bright lights. These will help control the user's natural circadian rhythms so that they won't feel tired after their arrival. In fact, users will feel no ill effects of jet lag at all. The mask will include several other useful features, such as an alarm clock that mimics a sunrise and sleep data analysis. Someone as hypermobile as you knows that jet lag takes a toll. I'm sure this wearable will be a lifesaver for you.
Number 13. What is true about the device? Number 14. What does the device promise to do? Number 15. How does the speaker describe the person who she is speaking to? Questions 16 to 20 refer to the following news report.
The ethics of pleasure travel.
Pleasure means different things to different people. Clearly no one minds if you take a few hours by the hotel pool. But what about bringing a partner with you on a business trip? Or taking those extra days when work is over? Business obviously comes first. And now you need to make sure pleasure doesn't get in the way. We need rules, guidelines, ethics. Professor Kwame Anthony Appiah more or less teaches the honor code at NYU Law School. He's a writer for the New York Times' ethics column and answers all of our dilemmas of conscience, usually with the response you do not want to hear. I'm hoping the good professor tells me my latest pleasure trip to the Philippines isn't completely morally unsound. So on this pleasure question, it's a trend that is growing. Professor, have you been guilty of this?
I've done it. I don't think I feel that I did it in a way that makes it appropriate to refer to myself as being guilty of anything. The fact that I've been invited somewhere interesting and we pay the difference and we have a good time on the edges of the whatever the legitimate activity is.
So let's go through some scenarios. I decide to add a few extra days to the work trip. I pay obviously the extra nights in the hotel, but the company has paid my ticket. Therefore, effectively, I'm having a relatively free holiday. Any problems?
I think the simplest way to think about it is to ask yourself, if I tell the company, if I tell my boss what I'm doing, will he or she think it's okay? And basically, then you think, if I were the boss, what would I think? And if you can answer that question in the affirmative, you can say, yes, if I were the boss, I would think that was fine, then you go ahead.
Even if logistically and logically it makes sense and isn't costing the company a penny piece more, it often creates a feeling that I'm getting something for nothing. Bad feeling.
Yes. Well, I think those kinds of feelings like sour grapes, are an ethical problem. If you do have a good work relationship, then you're going to be able to discuss it. You're going to get an employee who's happy because he or she is not only doing your work, but also having a fine time, him or herself, and isn't that a sort of win-win situation?
You decided that your partner's going to come with you on this trip. You're going to pay the ticket, obviously, but your partner will get a free hotel and effectively is getting a free holiday. Is that a problem?
You begin to get things that I think you ought to discuss with your supervisor, because now you're in a different psychological condition from the condition you'd have been in if you were doing the job in the ordinary way, which is that you're there focused on their work, on their business.
If you're senior management and you know pleasure is becoming more prevalent, would you urge companies to put in place policies so that there's no confusion? People know where they stand.
That's another aspect of what I was calling transparency. You need to be clear about what your expectations are about these things and to have clear rules, including a rule about whether you want to be told about it. I said you should tell your boss, but if your boss has said, look, if you meet these conditions you don't need to tell me, you don't need to tell them. And if there are any blurry cases, they should come and ask.
Number 16. What is the main topic of this report? Number 17. What does the reporter imply about himself? Number 18. Listen to the audio. What win-win scenario is the speaker talking about?
Even if logistically and logically it makes sense and isn't costing the company a penny piece more, it often creates a feeling that I'm getting something for nothing. Bad feeling.
Yes. Well, I think those kinds of feelings like sour grapes, are an ethical problem. If you do have a good work relationship, then you're going to be able to discuss it. You're going to get an employee who's happy because he or she is not only doing your work, but also having a fine time, him or herself, and isn't that a sort of win-win situation?
Number 19. What does the reporter ask the professor about? Number 20. Why does the reporter speak with Professor Kwame Anthony Appiah?